Is a gap in employment really this bad? So I have been saving for 5 years now. And I finally have enough saved to take about 6 months off of work and do a road trip around the country, which is something I've always wanted to do. I was so excited. I told my boss, who I thought I was cool with, about my plan when I gave her my 2 weeks notice today. Actually slightly over 2 weeks. I told my boss that this is something I've always wanted. That time is one of the most valuable commodities. And I told my boss that I would love to use her as a reference when I do eventually go back to work. And asked if she'd keep an eye on potential openings for me at my company. My boss said not only can I not use her as a reference, that I was being incredibly stupid to leave a 6-month gap in my employment history, and that I would be unhireable at any respectable company. She said, "Good luck explaining to HR or any hiring manager that you took 6 months off for the hell of it, and that I have zero chance of ever getting hired at this company again." She said it's the same everywhere, and no HR department will want to hire me after this. This angers me to no end. I worked here for 5 years and I don't feel I should have to justify why I took 6 months off to anyone. I have demonstrated that I'm a loyal employee. You don't stay 5 years somewhere if you're not one. Now my boss is basically telling me I'm throwing it all away. Is this really how it is? If so, it is almost more like I am a slave than a respected employee. Yeah, surely if you never take any time off, never ask for a raise, never make your workplace follow employment laws, surely the hiring department will recognize and appreciate your unselfishness and, you know what? I can't even do this sarcastically. She's manipulative. You can explain your trip to any hour person and they wouldn't bat an eye at the gap. In fact, they would see it as someone who sets and achieves their goals. Jobs come and go, but experiences like this trip that you've wanted to do and now get to do is a once in a lifetime. Have a safe trip. Your boss is jealous and bitter. Even if that weren't the case, this is your window of opportunity to travel. You may not get another chance like this for a very long time, if ever. And there's no reward for not going. You've already given your notice. Your life is yours to do with as you choose. Buy a roll of stamps and troll your boss with "thinking of you" postcards from every small town you drive through. What a farking lunatic. That 2-week notice would turn into no notice for me. Scissor. Your boss is an idiot. Your boss is a jealous idiot. You will certainly be employable when you return. Most Fortune 500 companies are not going to blink at this. Use a coworker as a reference instead of your moron boss. Your boss is totally and completely wrong. In fact, most people and companies will be interested in your travels, your story, and the new life experiences you had. No one hires someone just based on a resume. It's true, a resume can get you an interview, but it will never come close to the human connection you make in that interview. Your travels will make you happy, healthy, and have something interesting to talk about. People love interesting topics, and you'll be ripe to connect with whoever is lucky enough to be your next employer. Gaps don't matter. I had a stupid boomer call me out for not posting my entire resume history on my current resume, saying it looked like I took large gaps of time off. She said I should fix my resume so I would look more employable to prospective employers, otherwise they would pass on me. I thanked her for opinion. Mentally quoted Jeff, the dude, Lebowski. Yeah. Well, that's just like your opinion, man. And applied to 10 more places with the same resume. Got hired anyway. Some people care. Some won't. It's a numbers game. Remember the dude. Live your life the way you want. A lot of the people we meet may try to convince you on what they say is extremely important. But that's like their opinion ultimately. I have a 9-month gap when I hiked the Appalachian Trail. It's never been an issue. Your boss sounds incredibly unprofessional. Listen, I took 2 years off work during COVID to live abroad. It's the single best thing I've ever done. It put a lot of things in perspective for me. Coming back with a 2-year gap on my resume did present challenges, but none of them insurmountable. Don't listen to this dumb boomer. Honestly, I wouldn't even put the gap on your resume. Just say that you were still employed by your current company in that time. I have an NDA and I cannot discuss what I was doing for that period of time. Will make several HR people see stars as they can't imagine what high-level government contract you received was. If you are taking 6 months off to experience the country, I would say that is an extremely easy gap to explain and might be a positive one. Simply explain how you wanted to learn more about the country you live in and wanted to go to different regions to experience the difference in how they live and see the sights. HR should be impressed. It's not like you are sitting around not doing anything for 6 months. I once saw a post of someone years ago talking about how she was asked to explain a 1-month gap in employment during an interview. Like Jesus. I guess people can't just, I don't know, breathe for 5 minutes? Anyways, your boss is being way over the top because she's salty she's losing you. The impact COVID has had on the workforce has helped in normalizing gaps in employment and shorter work tenures. Thankfully, maybe you will be asked to explain during an interview, but it is not career-ending like your boss is making it seem. Absolutely not. It's all how you phrase or explain unemployment. People on high positions do it frequently. Time to focus on yourself, self-improvement, etc. Congrats Gore being able to take the time. Your boss may not take you back in your current area, but I'll bet HR would say you're rehirable. Especially since you gave notice and likely have been a good employee for 5 years. Some places may frown upon your employment gap, but those are places you probably don't want to work at anyhow. You should absolutely take the trip. I interview people to work at a very respectable company, and if you showed up with relevant experience and you talked about taking 6 months off to travel, I would see that you have planning skills and determination. You would very likely get a second interview. On the other hand, if you try to hide the gap or are vague and evasive if asked about it, that would reduce your chances. I'm a Tentralkayaner Fortune 25 CEO CCO CTFG TFO, and I will give you an amazing reference. Your boss can get REKD. A GAU in your employment history is only bad if you can't explain it. I think 6 months for travel is a wonderful reason. Since it sounds a bit like the US, I believe you could always sprinkle a little bit of patriotism into your reason, i.e., wanted to see our beautiful country.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.